Welcome to Mediocre Gaming, and today we're playing Tom Clancy's The Division. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and salutations. Today, it's all about survival. Let's get to it. So the new shield is now available, and it is survival. Whether or not you have the survival expansion, you have access for 1 week. So if you own the Division, but don't have the expansion or don't have the survival DLC, you'll still be able to participate in this shield. Now just go down to the terminal, start up a game finder, PvP or PvE, either one, whichever is your choice. They both have their benefits and drawbacks. And once you start, you will start in a safe house. All the safe houses have one green cloth material or fabric, and one pain medicine. Now the painkillers and medicine both stop your virus from killing you, and it'll stop the timer. When the timer hits 0, you will die. So when the game starts, you'll have 1 hour to make it from the safe house to the dark zone and get out. Now, if you have medicine or painkillers, that will stop the clock temporarily. Medicine will stop it for a longer period of time, and the painkillers for a shorter period of time. Now, in order to complete all the steps for the shield, you need to extract 5 items, you need to survive for 5 hours, and you need to kill 5 hunters. Extracting 5 items, you should be able to do that the first time you extract. There are plenty of items to extract in the dark zone. All you have to do is find the crates that have the gold items in them, or kill certain enemies. Name bosses always drop items to be extracted. Hunters drop items to be extracted. And occasionally, random ads will drop items to be extracted. You can extract up to 6 items in one game. So if you have either 5 or 6 items, when you get on the helicopter and get out, then you will have completed that step. Surviving for 5 hours is easy enough. Just play some matches and you'll gain time as you go. The most difficult one is killing 5 hunters. Now, in order to do that, you can do this one of 2 ways. You can go through and survive, get to the extraction point, call in the helicopter, deal with the hunter, take him out, and then get on the helicopter and leave, and that will get you 1 hunter kill. Now, if you go to each extraction, you can call for an extraction. There will be 1 hunter at each extraction area, and there's 3 in the dark zone. And then you can kill 3 hunters, and you can then leave, and then you'll have 3 hunters down out of 5. So that's a couple different ways to do it. I am not sure if you're playing in a group of 2, 3, or 4, if you have to actually kill the hunter, or if you get a shot on a hunter and someone else kills it. I don't know whether or not that will count. So the most difficult aspect of getting the shield will be taking out 5 hunters. That will be the part that will take the longest. Now, what do? It is almost like starting over, because you start off with nothing except for your sidearm, and then you have to go around collecting items and either getting or crafting items to help you out. Most important things are medicine, because that will stop your timer. and weapons, armor, clothing. But even more important than that is med kits. If you don't have a med kit, you have no safety net. When you get hit, you get hurt, and your health will only go back up to the next highest third. So if you're down to 1/6 of a health bar, it'll only go back up to 1/3. If you're just above that, you'll go back up to 2/3. The only way to heal is to go into a safe house or use a med kit or use food. So in this version of Division, there are painkillers and medicine. So 2 different things that'll stop your timer. There's canned food and energy bars. Those are 2 types of food items. And there's bottled water and soda. And they each do something for you. So we already talked about the painkillers and medicine. The canned food and the energy bars, those will bring your health back slowly after you're out of combat. So after a certain amount of time after you've taken damage, as long as that item is active, just below if you hit your square button on the PS4, it will pop up your ammo, and just below that rectangle, there'll be your active items. And as long as that's active, it will regenerate your health. Now, if you don't have that ability, you don't have any food, you can go into a safe house and that will regenerate. And the last ditch effort is to use a med kit. Med kits are almost like gold in survival. They're very important and very important for surviving. You can carry 2 initially, up to 2, and you start off with 1, and you can make an extra holster for an additional med kit, so then you'll have 3. Now, what about the differences? The canned food will last longer than the energy bar. The energy bar will be a shorter amount of time, and there is a cooldown after you use one. So after you use either the canned food or the energy bar, you'll have to wait for that timer to run out. Now, the bottled water and the soda are similar. The bottled water is the weaker version, the soda is the better one, and that will quench your thirst, and it will broaden your detection range. So if you're looking for items, or if you're in an unfamiliar area, then using the water, using the soda, will give you a wider range of when you can see those items, either materials or weapons or whatever. So things that enemies drop, those are easily seen from a block or more away. The items that I'm talking about are the crates and the boxes that you loot in order to get things. So if you have the water or the soda, instead of being, maybe 5 to 15 feet away before you actually see it, you can be down in the middle of the street and see it on either side of the street. All right, in addition to food and water, if you have not taken any food or water, you will be afflicted with hunger and thirst. And while you are hungry or thirsty, your health will not regenerate the same. So instead of going up to the next bar, it'll just stay where it's at, or it'll go slowly. I generally try to avoid that, since your health is very, very important in survival. So once you get in, you'll want to make your way to a place where you know there are items, which is usually either a crash site, which looks like a little helicopter on the map, or go to a landmark. Now, both of those areas are going to be dangerous for different reasons, mostly the same reason. When you first start out, you're going to have other players in the area. If you're playing PvP, you will have to worry about other players coming into your area and taking you out. So you'll always need to be aware of your surroundings and always watch your back. When you get to areas like landmarks and crash sites, there are more likely, because those are kind of like beacons where everyone knows they're at. If you've ever watched the Hunger Games, and they have that trove of all kinds of stuff in the middle, and it is a bloodbath. So it is inviting violence. Not only that, but there are NPCs guarding the areas. So you have to get certain items: fabric, electronics, tools. Then you can craft different items: weapons, armor, clothing, more medkits, tools like a filter. And you'll need to get a filter before you can get into the dark zone. Once you get your filter, then you can make your way to the dark zone, or you can go around and clear out some landmarks and clear out some bad guys and hope to get some better gear before you go into the dark zone. Once you get into the dark zone, you have to up your game. Enemies there are going to be more lethal than the enemies outside of the dark zone. So once you get into the dark zone, you'll be given orders of where the antivirals are, and everyone has a different spot. Now you can have up to 23 other players in your lobby at once, either in PvE or PvP. Now when you're playing PvP, you have to worry about other players coming up behind you, taking you out while you're not looking, or while you're engaged with other players or NPCs, especially at landmarks and crash sites. PvE, you still have to worry about other players, because other players will have the ability to train NPCs into your area, which would be a problem for you. And other players can go through and steal the materials and weapons and armor from the crates, because only one person can gather it. Once one person has gathered the materials or crates or weapons or armor or whatever, it's no longer available for anyone else. And then the ultimate test, once you'll have to get at least one division tech, and if you get your antivirals, they will give you one when you get that. Go to one of the safe houses in the dark zone, and you can craft your flare gun. Once you're in the dark zone, you have a lot of the high-end materials available to you, and high-end weapons and armor. So all the best weapons, armor, mods are all going to be available to you in the dark zone, which is good because you'll need it for all of the mobs and enemies and named bosses that live in the dark zone. Now, once you get into the dark zone and you get your flare gun, you're going to go to one of 3 extraction sites. Now, if you're going to try to take out all 3 hunters, then that's great. If you're in a PvP area, hopefully there are no other players left alive when you're going to try to do this. Extracting is a very risky strategy. If you're playing PvP, a lot of strategies that are involve players waiting for someone to extract and then looking for them at that site to take them out. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to ring the bell before you leave to be notified of all future episodes as soon as they go live. And thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And we'll see you next time.
Agent body temperature is now hypothermic. temperature is below optimal levels. Antiviral cache tagged and mapped in Dark Zone. Alert. Infection temporarily stabilized. Body temperature dropping below normal levels.
Come on, you got this.
temperature is dipped below optimal levels. Warning. Vital signs indicate probable infection. Antiviral cache secured. Warning. Infection levels increasing. Warning. Infection progressing. Alert. Infection progress halted. increasing. Alert. Infection temporarily stabilized. Infection progress halted. Infection levels increasing. Alert. Infection temporarily stabilized. Infection progressing.
Let me finish this.
Warning. Infection levels increasing. Alert. Infection temporarily stabilized.
Should be an easy kill.
Warning. Infection progressing.
Get it done, man. Come out and fight. Get away from that thing.
Alert. Infection progress halted. Infection levels increasing. Alert. Infection temporarily stabilized. Warning. Alert. Infection progress halted. Infection levels increasing. Warning. You are now entering a contaminated area.
Take him out! Hiding under cover over there!
Exiting the contaminated area.
Evacuation helicopter approaching.
Warning. Infection levels increasing. High threat target detected. Body temperature dropping below normal levels. Progress halted.
Seconds to go.
Warning. Infection progressing. Alert. Infection temporarily stabilized.
Seconds. Seconds. Landing initiated. We are taking off in 30. Pulling out in 10 seconds.